The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and sponsored by international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of Missing. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 40 podcast platforms, as well as hamiltonradio.net, Diamonds FM, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We can be heard in over 100 countries, featuring over 1,000 well-known and amazing guests throughout the globe. And named one of the top 100 global podcasts in the New York Weekly Times, Hollywood Entertainment News, Los Angeles Weekly Times, Apple, and Chartable. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great episode of the award-winning Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosinzia has garnered great reviews, and Eva Levin enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, now being heard on hamiltonradio.net, Oldies FM, Diamonds Radio, and a few other networks coming soon. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And don't forget to follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, baseball gear. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's an author of 5 amazing books from Bandageman Press. He was born in Philadelphia and grew up in South New Jersey. He graduated from Bishop Eustace Prep School and St. Joseph College and the University of Medicine and Dentistry in New Jersey. Also holds a graduate certificate in narrative healthcare and the Master of Arts in Writing from Thomas Wolty Center for the Narrative and Graduation Studies at Lenoir Rhine University in Asheville, North Carolina. And his works appeared in many major medical and surgical journals, contributed to a number of online platforms, served as writing fellow for Doximity.com and won numerous awards. And he has a new book out, which is about the bodies of 2 young women turned up on the dunes of Long Beach Island. And of course, Police Chief Mickey Cleary, who's featured in the other ones, hunts down the killer and uncovers a horrific truth. And he also has popular books on Bandageman Press, Shorecrimes, Barnegatdark, Shipbottomblues, Threshold, Surf City Confidential, and live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studio somewhere along the East Coast, and we'll call it Surf City, the amazing author of the new book with Dunes Until Dead from Bandageman Press. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Dan Waters. Dan, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, Mike, thank you. Thanks for having me.
What's great to have on board as well, too. So you're born in Philadelphia and grew up in South New Jersey. You graduated from Bishop Eustace Prep School and St. Joseph College, along with the University of Medicine and Dentistry in New Jersey. You also hold a graduate certificate in narrative healthcare and Master of Arts in Writing from Thomas Wolty Center for Narration Center and Graduate Studies at Lenore Ryan University in Asheville, North Carolina. Your works have appeared in many major medical and surgical journals, and also contributing to a number of online platforms, won numerous awards. You serve as a writing fellow for Doximity.com, and you have a book out about bodies of two young women that turned up on the dunes of Long Beach Island, where police chief Mickey hunts down the killer and uncovers a horrific truth. You also have books called Shorecrimes, Barnegatdark, Shipbottomblues, Threshold, and Surf City Confidential. And before getting to all that, Dan, tell us how you first got started.
Well, I've been writing ever since I was a kid. I grew up in a house where I got read to a lot. So, very early on, I, developed a real love for stories. And, I just thought, well, if, after you read enough stories, it's like, well, maybe I could write a couple. And so I had a lot of encouragement, both at home and in school. I went to a little Catholic school in Riverside, New Jersey, which is a very small town. And then I went to, kind of a small Catholic prep school and got a lot of encouragement there, again, in a small situation. And fortunately, when I went to college, I really didn't think I wanted to do it for a living. And I really wanted to go into healthcare. So I had great teachers in college, and St. Joseph's is a Jesuit liberal arts university. And so, they were very concerned that you got not just a college degree, but a college education. And so I was able to take theology, philosophy, English, all the things that would help you later on that were not strictly just science. So, medical school was kind of consuming. But I would write little things during then. In fact, the first piece I ever had published was after an experience I had while I was a medical student. And I'll tell you, Mike, once you see your name in print, ink becomes very addictive.
We all know that feeling.
Yeah, and of course, everything was, my first story was published in 1981. It's 41 years ago, but it was only print media then. So you were getting reprints and tear sheets and names that writers today would be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" But it was, and and part of it was, that's a pretty cool feeling. See your name on it, and have people comment on it, say, wow, I really liked it. But I think the other thing was that it was like, well, maybe I'm not terrible, maybe I should keep going. And so, I got real busy. I was training for 7 years in surgery. And then I was an open heart surgeon for, basically 30 years. Wow. But, I always say that, I always had the time. It was an outlet for me. So if something emotional would happen or something interesting or dramatic, I might, scribble a little something, even if nobody ever saw it. And then, medicine, surgery, especially heart surgery, has got a certain amount of drama, and so it gave me, things to write about, story, compelling sort of things to write about. And, as I got further in my career, you had that feeling that, well, yeah, I'm pretty good. I don't need to do anything. And then I saw this writing program at Lenore Ryan, which I could take while I was practicing. The classes were online. They were at the end of the day. And so I started out in narrative healthcare, and then I got hooked on that. Next thing you know, I was getting a master's degree. And wow. I was a pretty good writer when I started. I was a much better one when I was done. And I was in the company in my class of other wonderful writers who were probably all a little better than me. And of course, that just brings you up a little bit. So, but I love to write. If nobody read it, I would still write it, So, but that's, really how I got started, I call my little publishing company Bandageman Press, because when I was little, my mom, who's 92 now, she read to me this little golden book called Dr. Dan the Bandage Man. And I believe that was part of her plot, that I would end up being a physician, and apparently worked. So, so in honor of her, that's what I named it. But so I was able, I'm able to, and I had done short form. I had short stories published. I'd had essays published. I'd had scientific articles published, which are not near as interesting, but I really wanted to write something longer. And so 5-6 years ago, I started writing a novel, and said, Mark Twain said, write what you know. And I'd been a kid growing up in South Jersey. You know, I was at the shore every weekend all summer. And, you know, it was a unique place, a unique time. And so I kind of created a unique character and hoped people would find it interesting.
It does sound rather interesting. What was the one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
You know, once I started to write it, I started to realize that I had sort of the whole thing in my head. You know, I mean, it was just like I had vivid memories of being down there, of what that time was like, of what the vibe was like. And it was a very interesting time in the United States. You know, the first book starts in 1967. And, you know, I was 12 years old, but yeah, 12 years old, you're starting to understand the world around you. There's cars, there's music, there's girls. I mean, there's the beach, you know, I mean, those are the four basics of life down there in the summertime. And I thought, you know, this is a really cool convergence of things. And, you know, you could bring a lot of what was going on in the country at the time. And so for me, it was as much fun as people tell me they are to read, they're just as much fun to write. So yeah, once I got one, it was like, yeah, okay, I think I can keep doing this.
It sounds like you're really good at it. And who are some of your favorite writers and authors growing up?
Boy, I'll tell you, I don't know. I mean, how many 1,000 books I've read, you know, the people that influenced me, coming along, I loved John Irving, you know, and people just say, well, you know, they're all kind of different. It was like, well, I like John Irving. I like Stephen King. You know, I especially like short story writers. And so like when I was in high school, you know, I had a collection of like short stories, Edgar Allan Poe. And that's how I really first got started with Stephen King. Was his short stories, I think, are still the best. And so I still really like that form. I still write short stories, but every once in a while, you know, you want to just build something bigger. And so you know, I would say, without trying to exaggerate, that I have taken at least a little something from just about everybody I've ever read. You know, how one author does one little thing and one does another, and the way one does dialogue. And so, yeah, you gotta, you know, everything's derivative. You gotta be, you know, you have to be able to steal shamelessly. You just can't plagiarize.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, a lot of us do it as well too. Take a piece of here, take a piece of there, take a piece of there. And they say, you know, it's okay to take a page out of somebody's playbook, not the whole playbook, or at least, you know, take a page or half it and just put it together. Another page out of someone's playbook, just put it all together. And that's how I become, you know, very, very unique. And we encourage everybody to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I read, you know, I mean, a lot of the things that became very popular movies, of course, I had read as books. You know, I mean, I read The Shining, I read Jaws, you know, before they were movies. And when I read Jaws, it was like, wait a minute, this is Moby Dick with a shark, you know, and it was like, oh, okay, I get it. You can actually do this and not get in trouble, you know? So, and it is, I mean, I think imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. You know, you don't want to like channel somebody. You don't want to be like, you know, this writing is exactly like, but, you know, for really good readers, you know, I mean, they see what you're doing, and that's half the fun of writing. You know, I mean, all I think of is somebody reading the book going, I saw what he did there. You know, I know where that's from. And, you know, you kind of hide them. If they're not Easter eggs, they're at least jelly beans, you know? So, but yeah, I just, that's half the fun. Although it's a tremendous amount of work writing a novel. I mean, I could sit down, sometimes I'd write a short story that would just pop out and I'd have it done in an hour, maybe two.
Wow.
But I mean,
that's a challenge I got to do. Stories in an hour. I got to challenge myself.
Yeah. I mean, and I honestly, a couple of the essays I had published, I mean, I hardly changed a word, you know, I mean, they kind of marinate and percolate in your head for a while before you sit down to write them. But a novel is, you know, because, you know, and then there's the panicky times when you're writing and you're like, wow, I've got this all really good. How in the world am I going to finish this? You know, where's this going to go? Yeah. Some people, you know, Mike, some people plot their books out ahead of time. They have Post-it notes, they have index cards, and they know what every chapter is going to be, what every scene in every chapter is going to be. And I feel bad because I don't do any of that. So I kind of write it as it's, I'm a visual thinker. I must be a right brainer, you know? So I feel like I'm sort of describing the visuals in my head and the dialogue that I'm hearing. And sometimes I don't really know exactly where it's going to go until I'm writing it. And then you sit here and you think, okay, if I were reading this, what would be really cool? What would surprise me? Or what would I not see coming? And then try and take it that way. I mean, I usually have kind of a framework in my head of beginning, middle, and end, but I've had several of these turn out completely different or in ways I would have never expected.
It's almost like the unexpected too, with the right brain, left brain, and everything else. And I think you have a really unique style that's pretty much unparalleled just about everything. And I really like that too. So, and we'll translate too into your books, like with Shorecrimes, Barnegatdark, Shipbottomblues, Threshold, Surfcityconfidential, also your latest book as well too. But first, listen to the Mike Widener Show at the mickeycleary.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Widener Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Widener Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews in Eve 11 and George by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Widener Show at themikewidenershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in 100 countries, and on hamiltonradio.net, Diamonds FM, Oldies Radio, and more. Take the Mike Widener Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Widener Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Widener Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Widener Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Widener Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewidenershow.com, and buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Widener Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing Dan Waters, born in Philadelphia, grew up in South New Jersey, here on the Mike Widener Show, and broadcasting live from Surf City. You got a new book out called, which is Dunes Until Dead, from Bandageman Press. He also had Shorecrimes, Barnegatdark, and more. And there's one thing I was going to ask you about when you're writing those journals and everything, where you're going through heart surgery. What was the most I would say the most interesting and most unusual? What was it one heart surgery moment that you had that you also wrote down as well?
Well, I wrote a story about what it's like to hold the heart. I wrote an essay, wrote a short essay. It was published in JAMA, which is the Journal of the American Medical Association. And, I wrote it, later in my career after I'd been at it for a while. And I just thought, it's such a unique privilege. You get to sit there and cup the beating heart in your hand, and work on it and do that. And, what a tiny fraction of living people can say that they've ever done that, And so I just thought, I think there's kind of a little story in here, kind of a reflection. And it just struck me one day. And like I said, it just kind of, rattled around in my head for a while. And then all of a sudden I thought, okay, I think I got it. I think I know what I want to do. Sat down, cranked it out, edited it maybe a little, and sent it in. So that was it wasn't even an aha moment. It was just sort of like I had a medical student scrubbed with us, and I just said, it was a very safe part of the operation, and I just said, here, slide your hand here, you can feel the heartbeat. And I met her 10 years later when she was rotating. She was trained physician by then, and she just said, I never forgot that. She goes, that stuck with me. She goes, I always think about that. And I thought, okay, it would be, I got used to it because I did it every day. And I just thought we should make note of the fact that this is really kind of a rare privilege. And so, it was simple. I just titled it Holding the Heart.
Oh my gosh. Everybody does a great job of holding hearts. You also hold the heart to many of these novels out there. You got Shorecrimes, Barnegatdark, Shipbottomblues, Threshold, and Surf City Confidential. And let's talk about Shorecrimes for just a minute, involving police chief of Surf City, mickeycleary, and can finally throttle back. Casino referendum failed, and Ronnie, little girl Ella, and everything. And of course, the ultimate long shot gamble. And there's more than treasure. And tell us more about that.
This was the third book in the series, and one of the things that I felt like I had to do is you just couldn't make it the same thing, only different. You couldn't make, just her doing the same thing with different villains or something. So I tried to move around a little bit, try to bring in what was going on at the day. And what was going on when this book was set in 1974 was that New Jersey was in the throes of either trying to get casino gambling passed. So of course there was a lot of hand wringing, and we have to have this, and no, this is the devil's work. We're not going to have this. And so, there was a lot of behind the scenes political maneuvering. I'm sure anybody with a criminal bent was looking for one thing to go their way. Yeah. And so it just gave me all this leeway to bring in different storylines. People understood that Atlantic City was going to be a lot of money. A lot of money, not just for the casino builders, but for every little thing around it. And so, so I had a guy building a hotel. I had a developer from New York who was going to build a casino. I had, local crime families like wanting a piece of the action, and then other crime families wanting their piece of the action. And so it was just, it was like you had to actually not. I had to stop myself from, you can bring in too much. So, but anyway, so her thing is, some poor kid is found, buried up to his neck in the sand on the beach, and the tide comes in and, drowns him. And, it's kind of a question was it a fraternity prank gone wrong? And, the original theory is that, friends thought it would be funny. They buried him in the sand, got drunk, fell asleep, and forgot about him. And then it turns out that that's not the case. And it alludes to the very first days of the Russian mafia trickling down from New York City and, the local crime family. And it was just a chance to weave several really kind of interesting stories all together. But I really like this character. I just really do. There was no female police chief at the time, so she's a completely fictional character. But the other stuff I tried to keep pretty true to the times, the names of the businesses, the names of, the towns and the surrounding thing, the fact that, they visit the steel pier in Atlantic City where the diving horse is still diving. And so when people write to me, which they do a surprising amount, they just a lot of it's like, I really enjoyed this. I hadn't thought of this in years, and oh my God, I remember that. And when you come from New Jersey, especially from the shore, you just people always say once you're there, you have sand in your shoes the rest of your life. Meaning you just have that feeling. And so that's what I try and do. I try and in the dead of winter make people feel like they got sand in their shoes.
Oh, that's so amazing as well, too. And I'm feeling already, although never been to New Jersey yet, I love to go to Coney Island. I feel it already, too. And of course, you talk about some of the tensions that was going on in the last book as well, too. Barnegatdark, there was a number of tensions going on as well, too. And this also boiled over as well, too. And tell us more about that, Barnegatdark.
Well, that one, I thought that was a really good chance to bring in, because I tend to set them about 2 years apart or so that you let the characters mature a little bit, you let society move on. So in the first couple books, there was a lot about the Vietnam War, veterans coming home, and it was still going on when I wrote Barnegatdark, except there was a lot more opposition at home. And so one of the themes I wanted to work in was, you had the weathermen back then, which was essentially the beginning of domestic terrorism. And so I thought, well, that would be a good storyline, somebody that, they're going to try and, blow up the steel pier or something like that. And so it got to be sort of a detective mystery. So I got to have an FBI guy in it, and and a lot of these, my main character, Mickey Cleary, she just kind of gets pulled into these things. I mean, Surf City is a mile square. It's what they used to call, sleepy little beach towns. And, the trick is, how do you get her involved in something other than drunken disorderlies? You know what I mean? And so,
or too much on the beach, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Outside forces have to conspire to involve her in these things. And those outside forces can be big, they can be things on a national level. And so here you have somebody wanting to commit basically a terrorist act to protest the war, and she finds out about it and gets herself involved, and then you got to make it dramatic. I mean, I think when you read a book, it need to be like, man, that was fun. I really enjoyed reading that book. It's not like, that's the greatest piece of literature I've ever seen, or, I'm moved to tears. I just want somebody to say, all right, that was a good book. That was fun. That was worth the time I spent. So.
And of course, you also have fun too with Shipbottomblues. Talking about wrapping up a hectic tourist season. Not only is one of your better books, also you won a couple awards as well too, and an honorable mention. And tell us more about that one.
Yeah. That was a really good book. That was the second book in the series, and it won the Nancy Pearl Award, which it was a Best Book Award from the Pacific Northwest Writers. It's like their Oscar, for that organization, and Writers Digest liked it, and that was the second book. So that was my first shot at a sequel. So that's where I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next? How much do I change? What new characters do I introduce? How many do I bring back? And how am I going to keep it fresh, keep up with something new? And so, in that one, then there's just a lot going on. So that's 1969.
Wow.
Summer of Love, and the nice thing about it is when you write these things, you can put in all the things that were going on at the time. You weave in the music and especially at the shore, these big stars, they would come down and play the places in the nightclubs down there. So in that one, I got to really weave in a lot of the local color in that one. And I was just really, really happy with that book. So, and like I said, Ship Bottom, it's like, well, that's the actual name. It's the town right next to Surf City. So
that's rather interesting as well too. And you also have a book, Threshold, which also won another award. And this also tied into your profession of cardiac surgery, but involved some scam as well too. And that also won an award. Tell us about Threshold.
Yeah, Threshold was really one of the first books I wrote, and I stuck with medicine. So I have, my books tend to have heroines as opposed to heroes, because women are phenomenally more interesting than men, and as much as I love Jack Reacher, you just can't solve every situation by pummeling someone, so you have to make it different. They have to use their wits a little more, but you want to make them tough, it's not a cozy mystery, but Threshold I like because I had known some female residents, and their lives were tougher. I mean, they were treated differently than the male guys, than the male surgeons in training back then. This was a long time ago. So I made my heroine a female heart surgeon in training. And so she's got hospital politics to deal with, and she really thinks she's found a medical device scam, and actually the device scam ends up to be a terrorist plot. And to pull it in her, the boy, she meets a guy who she doesn't know anything, but he's a Homeland Security agent, and between the two of them, of course, they get sucked into this thing, and then you need a big dramatic ending, which so I could set it, and I'd been to Seattle. I have good friends in Seattle, so I was able to write about that. And it's a great thing, whenever you can set a scene at the top of the Space Needle, I think you're having fun. So yeah, that was good. That was a good book. I was really happy with that book.
I was gonna say, I love to sit on top of the Space Needle one day too. So and watch the Mariners from on top, or even Seahawks and all that. Or maybe if you try to find some way to watch the Kraken over there too from there. And of course, speaking of Mickey Cleary as well too, she got sucked into some politics as well too, and drawn the drama with Surf City Confidential. Now, tell us more about that.
Yeah, that book that came as like a single idea. I mean, all of a sudden it was like, I just had this idea and I thought, what if? So really what happens in that book is a body, her first month on the job, she's just taken the job in Surf City, and she's already, trying to figure out how she's going to be the first woman police chief and basically a male dominated thing in 1967, and the body washes up on the beach, which doesn't really happen very often in Surf City, but for dramatic purposes it did. And it turns out it's the son, the teenage son of a crime boss from Philadelphia.
Oh.
And so, the coroner says, look, just call this an accident and let's go home. Otherwise things are going to hit the fan. And she goes, nah, I can't do that. So she decides to make a real investigation out of it, just decides she's not going to just close the book. And next thing you know, you've got a looming mob war, because was it an accident? Was it a mob hit? And you just have all these other things. And then it's, without giving it away, it's got a fairly unique twist at the end that, you have to read. I can't give it away. But it establishes her. Which is what I really like. Establishes the scene, establishes her as a person, and sets the stage for, what comes later.
I was just going to say about the coroner. It seems like he wants to make the job easy. Say it's an accident, that's it. It seems to happen the most, but she gets really intrigued with it as well, too. And we'll talk about your book, latest, Dunes Till Dead, in just 1 minute from Bandageman Press. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosazia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with author Dan Waters of Dunes Till Dead after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People, based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Mosazia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with author Dan Waters of Dunes Till Dead from Bandageman Press here on The Mike Wagner Show. And let's talk about your new book about two bodies of young women turned up on the dunes of Long Beach. And Police Chief Mickeycleary hunts down the killer and uncovers a horrific truth. And tell us a bit more about the book.
Well, as we were talking before, Mike, I needed, I just, you can't have it be the same thing every time with just, switching pieces around. So what I did in this book is freshen things up a little bit. She's decided maybe she's not going to be a police chief her whole life. And so she becomes one of the first female cadets at the New Jersey State Police Academy. Now, interestingly, right about the time when the book is set, which is 1976, was the bicentennial summer in Philly. So big summer. But it was also right around the same time that the New Jersey State Police actually did admit female cadets for the first time. And so it gives her a new challenge. And so she's really not a cop. She's she's in between worlds. She's not the chief anymore, not supposed to carry a gun unless she's on the range with an instructor, and she's not a state trooper yet. And so, but something happens on Long Beach Island, which is, the barrier island where Surf City and all these other little towns are. And they decide to pull her in from her training because she knows the local, she knows the thing, and she's just supposed to go and, tell what she knows and really stay out of the investigation. Well, you know that's not going to happen. So
does anything ever happen like that? I don't think so.
No, and that's what you read for. I mean, you read because it's like, oh no, come on, you're kidding me. So she gets pulled in, and all of a sudden she's using all of her contacts, all the people she knows. And and then there's a parallel story about a young nun who has something she wants to tell Mickey and didn't get the chance. And then you're back in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, which is like kind of a no man's land. And then you're just trying to bring all these characters and all these people together. And actually it was a book that the more I wrote it, it was just like, yeah, it was like, I want to see how this ends. I better finish this because I can see how it ends. But the title comes from, if you grew up down there at a certain time, the title's a little riff on, there was kind of a rough and tumble nightclub in Summers Point, New Jersey, which is right down by the beach. And it was called the Dunes. Mm-hmm. And the Dunes had an interesting history. It was the only place that was allowed to serve alcohol after 2:00.
Huh.
So it would stay open until 6 a.m.
Oh my goodness.
And then it would close for an hour, and then it would open again at 7. So when every other bar at the shore closed at 2, if you still wanted to drink, where did you go? You went to the Dunes. And if you wanted to drink for breakfast at 7:00, where did you go? You went to the Dunes. And their tagline, and if you've ever seen some of these planes that pull banners behind them, they're up and down this beach all summer long. I mean, like one every 20 minutes. You always remember that every hour there was a banner that went by that said "Dunes till dawn."
Dunes till dawn. I like
Dunes till dawn. That was their tagline. It was like you could go and party and drink and listen to music literally until dawn. And so I just realized readers of a certain thing, that would stick in their memory. They knew exactly what I meant. And like said, if I can hold it up, if you don't
Absolutely.
mind, but that is actually the Dunes. I mean, there just wasn't much to it, and that was Dunes till dawn. And it was literally, you could sit there and watch the sun come up. And so that figures prominently in it. But again, I always try and find something that's topical, something that's based a little bit on something that happened in real life, and just sort of adapt it for dramatic purposes. And again, you want the reader to look at it and say, yeah, I got this figured out. And then you get to the last chapter or two and they're like, yeah, I didn't figure that out at all.
That's always an amazing twist to it as well, too. And where can we find Dunes Till Dead and all your books at, Dan?
Well, if you happen to live down the Jersey Shore, you can find them at Bywater Books, at Kapler's Pharmacy in Beach Haven, New Jersey. You can find them at Sunrose Words and Music in Ocean City, New Jersey. You can find them at Weathered Elements in Clear Lake, Iowa, right there on beautiful Clear Lake. For most readers, the easiest thing is to find them on Amazon, where it's available both as a paperback edition and as a Kindle ebook.
Okay. So, we will certainly do so. Once again, we're with author Dan Waters of Dunes Till Dead here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a few more things, Dan. What can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond?
Well, I have a nonfiction essay coming out in kind of a university journal about premature babies and artificial respiration. Starts with a story of a kid born in 1955 prematurely. And if you were born premature in 1955 and struggled to breathe, you had about a 50% chance of not making it out of that. And so it's kind of a braided narrative in in a journal called the Missouri Review from the University of Missouri. And it's a nonfiction piece, a creative nonfiction piece that I'm just really proud of. Under construction is a kind of prequel story to Threshold and a sequel story to Threshold, which picks up our heroine both before and after what happened to her in Threshold. And then I have sketched out the Mickeycleary follow-up for next summer, which will be set in 1978 in the same location. And I have a pretty good idea where she's going to go with that. But like I said, till I sit down and write it, I can never absolutely be sure.
And we're certainly looking forward to it, Dan. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I'm going to tell you that in my writing career, my single biggest influence were my high school writing teachers, my high school English teachers. This small little prep school in Pennsauken, New Jersey, and I know several of them were extremely disappointed that I did not major in either English or journalism and went a different road. But I think they were happy enough when I continued to write. But I think without their influence, without their support, without their encouragement, plus their teaching, I might have just let it go. And when I went to college, luckily I went to a place where there were some inspiring professors. And then, I can't say enough about my later in life when I was reasonably formed. But Laura, my professor, my program director, Laura Hope Gill at Lenore Rhine University was just amazing and just was able to make me a better writer than I ever thought I could be. So,
and certainly amazing. Yes. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
If you want to write, just there you have to read, and then you just have to write, whether you show it to somebody or not. But never be afraid to put something down on paper. Never be afraid to submit something. And I got more rejection notices than I can count. But and never write for any other reason than that you absolutely enjoy it. If you're not enjoying when you're writing, I don't know how you can write something good. If you can't have fun while you're writing, how can anybody have fun reading it?
Exactly. That's the whole point. You gotta love what you do. Just like the Geico lives. It's like if it's not a job if you enjoy it. So
That's true.
Yes, it is. That's right. We're here with author Dan Waters of Dune Still Dead from Bandageman Press here on the Mike Wagner Show. Dan, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Once again, touch about upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact? Where can people purchase or check out your books?
The easiest thing is if you go to my website, which is www.bandagemanpress, all one word, all lowercase.com, and it will show you all the books I have. It will take you to Amazon if you want to get there. You can look me up on the web, or you can look me up on Amazon on their author page or just on their books page. And I probably at this point in life can't hide if I wanted to.
Well, just don't let Mickey Cleary find out on that one. So
yeah, I would. The nicest compliment, Mike, and I'll just say this in closing, that the nicest compliment I got is from readers, and it's been from a number of them, is just saying, I just wish these were real people. I would really like to meet them. And I just thought, okay, all right, I did my job. I made the characters real to them, and that's what you got. If you're going to write fiction, that's the highest compliment you can get.
And certainly did a great job. Once again, Dan, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all the best, and you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thanks, Mike.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show. Brought to you by international award-winning author Mia Mohsen-Zia of Missing. And powered by Sonic Web Studios. Be sure to join us again on over 40 podcast platforms. And of course on the MikeWagnerShow.com, HamiltonRadio.net, and Diamonds FM. Don't forget to support our program with a generous donation at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Thanks for listening.